Welcome to the Queen Network. Guys, we are live and ready to go. I've got my leaders with me today. Come on in the room, ladies. Everybody wave. She said, I'm letting it all go so I can attract those things that belong to me. Welcome to the Queen Network. Come on in the room, ladies. Kafar, Makisha, if you can welcome the ladies that are coming into the room, I appreciate it. Money, money. What are you attracting? Remember, what you focus on grows, ladies. All these entrepreneurs on the line. Listen to this.
I believe that my life is sacred. Therefore, I am committed to living, thinking, acting, speaking, and doing everything in my life to reflect that. I am valuable. I am loved. I am a miracle worker. And I am capable of creating a prosperous and abundant life full of love, joy, and inner peace. I will invest the time that is necessary to maintain a strong relationship with God. And I will make sure the results of that relationship shows up in my daily life. Oh, I am a powerful human being. And I use my words to create and never to destroy. I am a believer and not a doubter. I am a conqueror and not a complainer. I am a victor and not a victim. I am the one. And all the good that belongs to me by divine right can never be taken from me. I'm confident and I remain calm and unshakable in my daily affairs because I know that the Spirit of God that dwells in me lives in me and exudes me. I'm a powerful human being and I use my words to create and never to destroy. I am the one. I am the one. I am the one.
I am the one. I love this. Oh my God, it is so powerful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Remember, you are the one. No one can do what God has called you to do. Welcome to the Queen Network. Some call me the Queen of Queens. My name is Jona. I have my leadership team with me today, guys. You ready for some power on this line? I want to send a shout out to the Queen Network. We are live on my personal page right now. I believe one of our admins, one of our leaders has shared it over to the Queen Network. So welcome from Africa to Bermuda to all over the United States. Guys, you have no idea what this means to me. We're going to get started right now. So here's the deal. I sent a question out to the Queen Network, to the leaders, and so we're going to have a discussion about that today. For those of you that this is your very first time being introduced to the Queen Network, we are a group of incredible, powerful, valuable, feminine human beings that God has created. Every woman on this line that you're going to hear from tonight have their own business, their own ministry. They know exactly what they're doing in life and where they're going. I just get the privilege of setting up this platform and allowing God to release them from it. Amen. And I'm excited about that. So here's the deal. We talk in the Queen Network. Here's what we talk about. We talk about the King and the Queen swag. And when I talk about the King and the Queen swag, I'm not talking about girlfriend and boyfriend. You guys have heard me say this before. It is not in the Bible. So we're talking about wife, husband, King and Queen swag. We also, I love this phrase from Dr. Grace Patterson, who you're about to hear from very, very shortly, is that she doesn't like being called single. We're not claiming singleness, okay? We are claiming being married and ready. So marriage ready believers. So we have that, and then of course we have our married queens. I wanted to set the tone for that, but in the Queen Network, we talk about two things. We talk about finances and we talk about relationships. So tonight it is all about TQN relationships. So here's the question. And Kafara and Makisha, keep an eye on the Facebook Live just in case somebody asks a question, even a gentleman. But guys, sorry, this is for women only. But you know, you feel free to leave a question. Here's the question that I'm posing to the ladies tonight. when it comes to the male and female relationship, can a single man and a single woman be friends? And because I know Dr. Grace has an emergency, I'm going to let her go first. She's going to introduce herself and she's going to answer her question. And then I have something I need to play for you. And then we're going to hear from the rest of the ladies. Dr. Grace, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be on. Thank you, Jona, for this platform, and thank you for this opportunity to go first, because you know I got to get out of here. I have a patient that is waiting, and the family is like, oh, we need help, and that's what I'm here for, and that's what I do. Absolutely. I am Dr. Grace Patterson, affectionately known as Dr. Grace. I am a native Detroiter. My practice is in Southfield, Michigan. We have different arms and different branches of what I call my ministry, because I don't separate my ministry as a doctor from my call. So we do home visits. I do a lot of alternative services where we actually do what we call health mapping, where we take a snapshot to see where a person is right now and give them a step-by-step plan to get them where they need to be health-wise. And we do it by hormonal checking the hormones, checking the neurotransmitters, and checking vitamins. So that's basically the crux of what we do. Right on the cuffs of this COVID-19, giving a shout out to my spiritual leaders, Apostle A.T. Jackson, Dr. Beverly Y. Jackson. I asked if I could do antiviral infusions with vitamin C. Had no idea that this COVID-19 was going to hit, but I just thank God that he said yes, and we were able to get a lot of those infusions in our congregation. So I am saved, sanctified, filled with the precious Holy Spirit. I will lay hands, I will prophesy and give a word of knowledge, even in the midst of my practice. I am not ashamed of the gospel. I am not ashamed of Jesus. My assignment in the kingdom of God is a prophetic intercessor. I'm assigned specifically to a team to pray for our leaders. And so that's what I do. So to answer your question, because I gotta go, is do I believe if a man and a lady can be friends? In my perspective, I say yes, because I want to marry my best friend. So I'm not going to elaborate on that. I'm not going to take it any further than that, because I do want to marry my best friend. So I do believe that a male and a female can be best friends if it's in the direction of marriage. But I do have to say, in my life and in my career, I was talking to somebody about this in college. I had a best friend and we were strictly platonic. So I do believe people can be friends as long as they know where they are in their friendship and have an understanding about that. But again, I, as a marriage-ready queen, yes, I want to marry my best friend. Now, I have to give accolades to a good friend of mine. Her name is Allie Sanders. She coined the phrase marriage-ready believer. So I don't want, Jona, you to think that I came up with that. I just want to give a shout out to her. But I can say that I am a marriage-ready queen. So on that note, I gotta go, everybody. I have a family that's waiting. Please pray for this family. I'm still dealing with the COVID-19, as you guys know. I'm doing video chats, video visits, but I promised Jona that I will be on here tonight. This was on the books like a week or so ago. So you guys have a wonderful time. Grace and peace. God bless, and bye for now.
Bye. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Grace. And yes, we will keep that family in our prayers. All right. While I'm finding my next, I'm going to have, is my daughter? I don't see her. Taisha, are you on here, dear? Go ahead and unmute your phone. Now this, oh, there she is. Okay, listen, I'm not going to cry, but Kafara probably knows better than anybody what this means, having my daughter on here in ministry with me. But I'm not going to tear this Zoom up at this very moment. I'm going to give her an opportunity to speak. And guys, tell her happy birthday. Today is her birthday. Wouldn't God do that on today? All right, Taisha, take it away.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, ladies. I am Taisha Renee. I turned 43 today, so I'm entering into chapter 43, which is truly by the grace of God, because I am a 2-time breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed the first time at the age of 35 back in 2012. And then the second time was in 2014, where I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer of the bone. It was in my right hip bone. And I just felt like back in 2012, God gave me this vision to open a company called Just Saying Thank You. And basically life's challenges got in the way. Marriage, had 2 small children at the time. They were 6 and 15 months when I was diagnosed with cancer. I have 2 boys. I was helping my husband at the time run his business. I was still working a full-time job at Chevron. And it was a lot, and still trying to go to chemotherapy, which I have to say that my mother took me to pretty much all of my chemo treatments, not just the first time, but the second time as well, and was at all of my surgeries. So I have to definitely thank you for that. So it is by the grace of God that I am still here. I feel like right now, for so many years, I was trying to find my purpose, because I feel like God left me on this earth for a reason. And I feel like that my purpose is helping other breast cancer survivors move from not only just surviving, but thriving. And there is definitely a difference between the two. So I feel like that's what my purpose on this earth is.
Okay, so now can you answer that question? Can single men and single women be friends?
So as I mentioned, my husband at the time, so I am now divorced, because I felt like, you know, God had better for me, not to speak negative of the other person, but I just felt like it was time for me to move on. And it was a struggle for me to move out of that marriage, because sometimes you want to hold on to the things that you felt were led by God, but when they really aren't.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you want to stay seated at a table that you're comfortable with, and you want to stay sitting there, and God will come along and snatch that chair from up under your rear end, and you will hit the floor. And that's what happened to me in 2018. I hit the floor because I tried to hold on to all of those relationships that God had been telling me to move on from.
You got free.
I'm just saying, you know, so now, with that being said, I am divorced, so I'm speaking as a single woman now. I do believe that a single woman and a single man can be friends. I think that probably some of the best marriages come out of great friendships. So that's how I feel about it.
Excellent, excellent. Let's see, who do I want to pick on next? My business strategist, you know I'm coming after you, Miss Tamara. Go ahead and unmute your line. Thank you, Taisha, and happy birthday again.
Thank you.
All right, all right.
Hi, ladies. Thank you. I knew you was coming for me.
You know I was.
I felt it in my bones. Oh, my goodness. And everybody was looking like, yeah, she getting hurt. How you doing, everybody? My name is Tamara. Last name is Grandjoy. I go by my Ruby Joy. That is my business. I'm a business consultant. I teach business owners how to maintain and grow their business.
Yes,
So I do things a little differently from most people. I tell them what they don't want to hear. So most people, when they have their businesses, they're well, you know, people like to say, I'm a business owner, but they're not making any money, you know, or they're still at the same place, they're still struggling, which means that something is wrong.
Right.
9 times out of 10, sometimes they're hiring family members, or they get too close to their friends and they don't want to tell them the truth. Friends are stealing from them. They're not doing the work. Things are not happening as it should. And they call me when they're in trouble. They got to go to court. They need somebody, you know, they're being audited. They're losing their license. I come in and I fix it. I'm like the secret Santa, the secret shopper, but for businesses. I come in as a receptionist, as an administrator, but I look through all the books and I revamp everything and get them back on their feet so that they can go on the path that they need to go. So that's what I do personally. When I'm not doing my own business, I am the disaster program manager here in Texas for 7 counties for American Red Cross. So I'm kind of in the midst of it all. And under me, there's 140 volunteers that I'm responsible for. So organizing is my thing. That's what I love to do. And me and
And
Miss Jona.
I want to add, and managing people. Because, honey, you know, you're keeping an eye on your girl and making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. She's a great policeman, a policeman of people. Anyway, go ahead.
So it's, for me, you either like me or you hate me, but at the end of the day, you have to respect me because I'll tell you the truth. That's really what it comes down to. And as far as men and women, I think it has to start with friendship. So I believe that, you know, I don't believe that you can go into a marriage and not be friends. It's gonna fail. Is you need to understand their makeup. You need to understand their manual. Everybody was created differently. Men and women are created equally, but differently. And every man is different. And because we're different, I can't treat one man the same way I treat the other man. I need to understand his makeup, what makes him happy, what makes him sad, how he's built. It's just like anything that we have, whether it's a car. You know, I heard what is his name? Monroe, Pastor Monroe.
Miles Monroe, yeah.
Yes, he would say that, hey, you know what? You can't put water in a vehicle. If it needs gas, it won't operate. You'll break it. So it's just like a man. You know, you have to treat him a certain way. You have to find out what makes him happy. And you're not going to know that unless you're his friend. He's not going to tell you that. So I'm a firm believer that you need to be friends, and I want to marry my best friend.
Aww. All right. Thank you so much. Yay. Let's see, who am I coming after next? I think I'm looking at Miss Patty Denise Henry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Come on to the front of the line.
So you guys are hearing me all right?
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you.
Well, Queen Jona, you there?
I am here, darling. Take it away.
First of all, I'm a newbie to this, and I want to thank you for the invitation to come sit with your queens.
Yes.
And I am Patty Denise. I like to refer to myself as the soul coach, motivating you to live before you die. Why did I become a soul coach? I have been a hospice chaplain for 22 years, providing spiritual support to the terminally ill, and then bereavement support to the families for 13 months after the death. I was sat down before this COVID. I've been in quarantine since May because of a disability and waiting to get better. I had to use what's in my hand. And instead of waiting until a family and a patient has 6 months or less to live, God says, motivate them to live before they die, because when you only have 6 months less, that's not enough time for me to do what I need to do to make sure your soul is ready. So here I am. Jona and I have been friends for since 2002. We share the same birth date, September 27th, and she has been one to watch before social media platform, before anything. She has been marching to her own drum beat, and you can only learn from Jona. She has not only now inviting us to come into the room, but she has always stepped into the room. She didn't even know her power of commanding presence when she walked into her room, but that's who she is. So, I have to give you those accolades because they're so true before we even knew to give it a name. I was glad to be invited for the question today. Should a single man and a single woman be friends? And being 58 years into the chapter of my book, I can say good friendships between the opposite sex is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak-minded. It's not for the broken or the suspicious. You got to be strong, because when you get mingled with a best friend, you get comfortable to where you can have a conversation with your drawers on. You know what I'm saying? And opposite ends. You become meshed together. It's like David and Jonathan were so friendly that their souls were knit together.
Right.
And even with a simple male-female relationship, people on the outside can misconstrue this so desperately that you end up losing on good relationships because sick people cannot identify with the opposite sex being such good friends. And we have to get to the point where we can silence the noise of the ones on the outside and understand the truth of our relationship. I believe at the front of every relationship, I've lived long enough now, Queen Jona, to understand that even at the beginning of a simple relationship, I ask myself the question and the other person, You know, where do we see this relationship going? Even with a male and female relationship, do our destinies align? You know, where are we, why are we friends? What is this relationship going to give birth to? And so that's going to help us determine if we want to forge forward or not. Am I in this friendship to change you, to manipulate you, to be just like me, or am I going to embrace your differences? There are so much beautiful things that can come out of a relationship with the opposite sex that I love it. I put my stamp of approval on it. I think it's necessary. Even if that person is not destined to be my life partner, they are assigned to me so I can learn more about myself and what I should desire from my single man when he comes along. Because remember, we attract who we are, not what we want. And there are some things that we want that we wouldn't know what it looks like or sounds like until we have a conversation with the opposite sex. So there are a lot of pluses as to why we need to have these healthy relationships. And I am all for it, ma'am.
That was good. That was a little preaching going on in there. And I was like, amen. Okay. Well, thank you so much, darling. Thank you. And thank you. Yeah, we have been friends for a very long time. And it's not by coincidence. This is a divine relationship. Some people come and go in your life. And I think we went for a little bit. And then all of a sudden we were back in each other's lives. And it's just been it's a blessing. She's a blessing. All right. I am coming after Miss Taka Valentine. Miss Patty. I want you to hang on, Patty, if you can, because I'm going to play something that really supports what you just said. But go ahead, Taka. Take it away, darling. Miss Taka Valentine.
Hello, everyone. You can hear me okay?
Hi.
Hi, my name is Taka Valentine. I am in Houston, Texas, and I am an entrepreneur. I've been a real estate agent here in Texas for 2 years, but my passion is I'm a natural storyteller. And I use that gift through entertainment. So I'm an actress. I'm also recently discovered that I'm a writer. And I also feel like I'll be directing soon as well. So that's a little bit about my passions. And as far as the question of can a single man and single woman be friends? Absolutely. They can be friends. I want to add with boundaries. With boundaries. I'm 43. Happy birthday, Taisha. We're in the same age group. And I have been friends with good-looking single men. And I found that if I am attracted to them and they're attracted to me, to continue the friendship and get to know each other, you have to have boundaries. And it's not always easy to keep those boundaries, but it's necessary. It is very necessary.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about what part is it like hard? Is it because it's cute? And what, I mean, what's but go ahead.
Well,
That's what
it could be a combination of things because as you get to know, I think it's important to have a physical attraction. I mean, I think that's the first thing you see, but it has to be more than that. Yeah. So if you already have that part in place, then you get to know the person and you're attracted to other qualities in that person, that's only going to increase the attraction. So you have to keep things in place. And for me, I've learned that I have to have some strict boundaries of how we relate, of how we get to know each other. And it's true. I think a lot of people don't believe that you can just be friends if you're single, two good-looking people who are engaged in getting to know each other. I think people assume that there's other stuff going on. So Miss Patty did mention about the outside people talking. I've experienced that a lot in my relationships. People don't believe me when I say, this is my friend, just my friend. I think they see the attraction between the two of us and they just assume. But you have to put that to the side because you and them and God knows what's going on. But I think it's necessary because I too want to marry my best friend. And I think when you start off as friends, all of that pretentious fake stuff, I mean, you can only fake it for so long. I mean, you get tired. So that real you comes out. It's like, okay, you see the ugly. Yeah, I mean, when you are really good friends, you see how they look, you know, when, you know, they crusty and you're like, you know, okay, I think I still like you. It's true. And I think a lot of people during this time specifically are realizing that they don't like who they're with. Right. or they don't know who they're with.
Yep.
And they're probably rethinking this at this time because they stuck at home with them.
You know, you bring up a good point about them being quarantined together. Hey, honey, you better be friends because you've been in the house together for the last 40 days. So, I'm all about stats because, guys, I have to keep my ears to the ground, and I do a lot of research, and so I know the divorce statistics, and a lot of the research that's coming out right now is saying that divorce is gonna go through the roof after this is over. Because some people gonna be like, you know what? I could have died and not been happy. I'm not doing this again. And then there's some that it's rekindled their relationship. So hey, this has revealed a lot. All right, Kafar, I'm going to save you for last, daughter. Miss Kalina, come on to the forefront. Thank you so much, my darling Tata. Queen Tata. Go ahead, Kalina.
Good evening, ladies. My name is Kalina Utterbridge, and I am from Bermuda. I have my own business, but I also work full-time for a small company, kind of like a SBA in the States, helping small business with finance, business advice, starting up, entrepreneurs, things like that. With my business, I help people with their finances. So I'm studying to be an accountant, and I help with financial accounting and bookkeeping services. I met Jona, I think 2015.
Give or take, yep.
Give or take 2015. She came to Bermuda to teach us about finances and saving and investing in different things like that. And she's been a part of our Bermuda home since then. So I'm just glad to continue to be a part of her life and a part of her network and her journey into bringing things to the forefront, whether it be through business or through relationships. So I am single, and the question is, can men and women be friends? Yeah. And I absolutely believe so. Everything everyone said so far has resonated with me, but I do believe that men and women can be friends, but like people have said, you have to set those boundaries. You have to know where things stand, where you want things to go, and that has to be laid out beforehand, as you're getting to meet that person. And whether there's an attraction first, it's always good to be able to get to know that person before you move forward. So I absolutely agree that we can be friends. And just to mention, I'm married ready. I'm ready to find one.
I'm live. I'm putting it out there. I'm ready.
I'm ready to, explore that person and get to know them and, be their friend and learn the ins and outs about them. And then that helps you to be able to tell if you want to go further, because once you be able to, peel those apples, peel that skin off and see what's underneath, then you at least know if you want to move forward with that person or not. So I'm absolutely a firm believer of being friends first, and then best friend, marriage, wherever it leads to.
Excellent response. Thank you very much. And I didn't realize it had been 5 years. Oh my goodness. But I might as well do a residence there because I'm there at least 3 or 4 times a year. So work. I will have a home on that island. I might as well go ahead and receive that myself. Thank you so much, Selena. I don't know if Joanne is on, but I do want to hear from Kafara. I thought I saw Joanne, but I don't see her on anymore.
She was on earlier. I don't know if she popped off when we were having the little late start. But
okay. All right. Okay. That's all right, guys. This won't be our last time. Go ahead, Miss Kafara. Take it away, darling.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me well?
Just talk about just a little bit.
Okay. So let me first say that Joanne was having a little bit of trouble, so I've been handling her on the sides, but she is still watching. So thank you, Joanne, for all your patience. And so hello, everybody. My name is Kafara. I want to give it back to Jona because I've known her for I lost count actually.
2004.
I believe it was 2004. We've known each other for a while.
Okay.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
And so my name is Kafara, and I am from Lansing, Michigan. We are the capital of Michigan. And that's when I had met Jona, when she was actually living here. And so I am actually living in a little city called Bath, Michigan. Not very many people here, really far out, and I absolutely love it. But what I do is I am a multipreneur. And that simply means that I facilitate and help others come into their hold on, let me step back. I'm a multipreneur. That simply means I have and use multiple streams of income to bring myself into increase and others that will be connected to me and that are connected to me. And so these things all line up in my life. They all facilitate and are in agreement with monetary items. With finances. Outside of my entrepreneurism, I am a prophetic administrator. And what that simply means is, one, I am a prophet. Two, I assist others, such as people in the fivefold ministry that need counsel. People have been coming to me, and what God is doing is He's packaging it for me to be able to facilitate healing, wisdom, love, joy, peace, counsel to people that are in the fivefold ministry. Also, I am very passionate about others healing, spiritual healing, their purpose, and helping them facilitate and manifest destiny. And so God has coined me the destiny pusher because
I love it. I love it.
Come and become connected to me, I end up being able to peel back the onion of their life and of their destiny, and then push them and thrust them into their destiny. And so that could just mean that God shows me by wisdom, word of knowledge, or however the Father uses me to be in that person's life to be able to push them to where He wants them to go and to them to be.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, now I want to hear your response.
Okay, so I am married. So I'm coming just a tad bit differently. I've been married going on 18 years this year. Yay, I'm super excited about that. Love it. And me and my husband are very good friends. We are best of friends. We absolutely love each other and can't keep our hands off each other. Amen. But I say that to answer the question, can men and women that are single be friends? And I say yes, but it does depend. Now, in a marriage, I come at this a different way because you have to know your spouse. If your spouse is not comfortable with you having a relationship with the opposite sex, then you must abide and be in agreement with that. Because it says in 1 Peter 3:7-9, and I'll shorten it and paraphrase.
She's coming with the word. Go ahead.
I come with the word. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with your spouse according to knowledge. Yes, exactly. And one thing about God is He is very interchangeable regarding sex. He's outside of sex. So that means wives as well. You have to live with your spouse according to knowledge. And so you have to be in agreement with other with dealing with the opposite. But in marriage, you should definitely be best friends, best of friends. And while you're dating leading to marriage, you definitely should be friends.
Absolutely.
That is my response.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to do one correction. One of the things, guys, we've been changing lately is that because dating is not in the Bible. So I'm in a real place. Like you guys hear me say all the time, it's no more fake free. Ain't no fake freedom. You're going to either be free or not be free. You're just going to be in bondage. You have to listen to last week's message for that. But we're not walking in fake freedom here, okay? So when it comes to relationships, like I said, no girlfriend, no boyfriend. You guys hear me say that. We don't give wife benefits on a girlfriend salary. Okay? Hello, somebody just like, okay, all right. So I agree with what you're saying, Kafar, in the sense of, yes, the two of you are coming together. And if he says, he doesn't want you to be friends with another male and so forth, then that's a whole nother story, because now you're inside of a committed relationship. Now, I do want to say this is what I wanted to say. When you brought up about husbands dwell according to your wives by knowing them. Now, I know we're probably going to have some kings look at this. And they're like, okay, well, what does that mean? First of all, apparently, maybe you need to go give that scripture. I think you did put that scripture, type that scripture in the chat, make sure they got it so they can go back and read it for themselves. But I want to comment this before we finish this out. Dwell with them according to knowledge, which means you don't do things for them that make you happy. You're going to be doing things for them that make them happy. So, you don't give them gifts that you would like them to have. You listen to them. You give them things because you've been listening to them. You've heard them say, oh, I want that. Oh, I like that. Pay attention according to knowledge. I just thought I'd throw that in there because sometimes in relationships, and I'll talk to, speak to the husbands, because they'll say like, well, she didn't appreciate my gift. Well, is that something that she would have even bought for herself? Okay, so I'm just going to end that right there. That's a whole nother message. All right, I see we have Miss Bermuda on the line here herself. You're gonna be the last one, and then guys, bear with me. We did start a little bit late, and I have something I want to play for you that prompted this question. Okay, all right, Miss Joanne Smith out of Bermuda, go ahead and unmute your line. Are you unmuted, darling? What you're going to be doing is let the people know who you are, and then answer that question about the single male and the single female. Not dwelling together in knowledge. I was getting ready to say that, Kafar. I'm like, no, we're talking about becoming friends. Go ahead, Kafar. Go ahead, Joanne.
Good evening, beautiful queens. How are you?
Good evening, darling.
My name is Joanne Smith, and I'm from Bermuda. I have known Jona since 2014, I think.
Yep.
How about that? My passion, still searching for that.
Yep.
But I was an IT administrator for 18 years with the Bermuda government. And while doing that, I enjoyed the work very much. I enjoyed the people, but it was just taxing on my soul, really. Every year you get so many days for sick leave, and mine were gone by March. So I said, this is definitely time to go. So I left in 2015, 2014, and have been actually the sole caregiver of my mother, who's 91 now, 92.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as well as doing other streams of income as far as gold is concerned and Forex trading. So the question, always, men can always be friends with females without having to have sexual intercourse. All my life, I've been more friendly with males than females, mostly because of my jobs. But you have to, as everyone said, set the ground rules for where you want this friendship to go, or you just can't have it. And as far as marrying someone that is objecting to your friendship with males, I don't think I could do that. I've never done that. I was married. I'm not married anymore, but that's another story. He never had a problem with my friendships with other males, ever. And that's one thing I asked early, because of the friendships that I had before the relationship started, was to make sure that he was okay with them before we went on.
That's good.
And if he wasn't, then would have cut that very short. Because I like the male companion's part. It doesn't have to be, like you said, it doesn't have to be a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It just could be a friendship. But I like their advice and listen to them very intently sometimes on business as well as relationship, because they know what they're doing. I mean, they are the male, so they know what other males are thinking and how to deal with them. And that's it.
Excellent. I see Makisha. Is that Makisha? Can you hear me, Makisha? Go ahead and unmute your line. Thank you so much, Joanne. This is our last one. I see Makisha has joined us. All right, girl.
I was here. I didn't have the camera on. This is totally new for me, so.
I think I'm stretching not only myself, but I'm stretching all of you too.
Absolutely, because I'm a behind the scenes person. And so yesterday was my birthday, so I was kind of thinking maybe I should find some excuse not to do this, but then I said, absolutely not. No.
I know I'm pushing y'all. I know it.
Love
it though.
Yes,
God
you
has
are.
been pushing. My name is Makisha Harris. I live in Apex, North Carolina. The last 4 years have been one of the most liberating yet difficult. No. Let me cancel that word difficult. Challenging. I've had to have a procedure that my vision was affected. I've never had any problems with my vision. I had fluid behind my eyes. And so basically 4 years ago, I had to have a shunt placed in my brain, and they had to do the procedure twice. But while in the hospital, I've been a pharmacy technician for many, many years until I got laid off. And, but it really was a God push. It really wasn't layoff. And so it perpetuated me. And well, you know, it kind of was like, I was having like this tug of war back and forth with him, and he gonna win. So I don't know what I don't know. I just guess I was entertaining myself. And so the road got very interesting. But while in the hospital, I was in the hospital in 2016 for the whole entire summer, actually. But while there, I don't like medication, so I'm a very holistic type of person. And so they were like, you know, we can give you Percocet. I said, I don't want Percocet. Just give me Tylenol. And they were like, what are you doing in this room? What's going on? There's a change in this room. Because this is the thing. My mom anointed the room before I even came in the room. When they told me that I had to have this particular procedure, I already knew I was healed. That's just how it was. As a matter of fact, I began to speak optimal health over my body.
Come on.
So while in the hospital, I'm a counselor, always have been. I've been doing it since I was a little girl. It has nothing to do with the degree. It's what I have just been called to do. And so, but I've been also running from that because I had other things I felt like I needed to do to make more money. And, I had this whole plan. You know how it is. So I got a little spanking, and he sat my butt down. And I'm very good in stillness, and I like to be around water. But getting back to the hospital, I was in there, and you know, they did the procedure, and I was there, and things went wrong, and they had to. Anyways, the nurses were fighting over my room. I told mommy, I said, "What's wrong with these people?" I said, "Well, maybe they're coming in here because you know they have nothing else to do." But the whole entire time, I'm counseling. I'm helping one with the wedding. I mean, it was just so, they were coming in with pen and paper seeking advice. And they were like, it's just something about this room. It's just something about, I said, well, let me go ahead and be very clear. It's not me. It's what's on the inside of me.
Come on.
So he had to basically blind me so I could see, if that makes any sense. And so here I am. I'm a new entrepreneur. I'm currently in the process of starting a business. I come from a very long line of entrepreneurs, and so that's just what's in me, but that's also the same thing I've been running from. And so through the healing process, I keep trying to tell people that I'm healing, but I don't think they care because they still call for advice, and so I say, okay, God, it's very, very clear. And so what I'm going to do next will be something with recovery. It's not quite, you know, I'm very authentic, so I'm not going to give you a spiel that it's all worked out. But one thing about this, what we're going through now, the time of stillness is very important for me. So as I pray for families and friends and that are, you know, have lost loved ones, I also take this time as a very sacred time for me. I hear God ever so clearly. When I watch how the stillness of it, things are just still. Because they have no choice. And when authority steps in, which is who lives, you know, on the inside of me, I got real clear. So, Jona, thank you for a video.
Okay, you know, I had to interject, guys. The reason why I'm smiling is because this is her first time in front of the camera. I'm cracking up laughing over here.
Well, this is the thing about me. I speak all the time,
Look,
but I speak
you don't have
behind
to.
the camera.
I am so blessed to see you women stepping into what it is God has called you to do. So yeah, that's why you see the smile on my face. So I'm just excited. Now you have to answer the question before we kind of transition here.
That's what I was kind of leading into.
I want to hear what you have to say about that question.
Oh boy, talking about that question. I'm 44. I never thought about marriage. I just wanted to make sure that I could take care of myself. And that's because I came from, my parents are divorced, but my mother sat me down one day and she told me, she said, that's my life. That's not your life. And so something shifted in me on the inside. So I decided, because I ended a relationship 6 months ago, but I ended it kind of before that, but officially 6 months ago. And I decided that I wanted a spirit mate. So yes, I do believe that single men and women can be friends with boundaries. And I mean, crystal clear boundaries. One of my best friends is Mel. But we're very clear. And even, you know, whoever, whatever, if I meet an individual or whatever, I'm just clear and honest. I like deep conversations and that type of thing. So yeah, I do. I believe that they can be friends.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for your input. So I'm going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into this, and I'm going to ask you to listen to something. And whoever wants to chime in afterwards, I do believe I want Patty to chime in, because there were some things that she said, and then we're gonna close this out. But this came out of a conversation that I was having with God, and hopefully you guys can hear this okay, because if not, I'll have to record it separately. But let's see. And Kafara or Makisha, you can give me a thumbs up if the volume is okay.
My personal belief, and from my own experience, I don't believe men and women can be friends. I believe you can have these, some people would say associates and so forth, and I want to define the two. It's not like we can't do, go out to dinner and things like that. I think when you start talking about friends share secrets. Friends share
Everybody mute your line.
Moments. And so what happens is when you start having what I call friend conversations, it brings about a connection. I want to talk about the connection between me and my accountability partner. I share secrets with her. She and I have a bond. We have a bond. But because we are heterosexuals and so forth and so on, we know that bond is only going to go so far. The thing about the male and female relationship is that bond can go further. I said this a few minutes ago. I said that when you start sharing secrets and you start bonding, and there's a thin line between. I know what it is. What happens is when you start sharing moments, life moments, good, bad. Something happens and you want to pick up that friend, that male friend, and call him and tell him about maybe something going in your relationships and so forth and so on. You're basically, you've taken that relationship into an intimate space. You're sharing intimate communication. Intimacy, and that's why I keep trying to tell you, intimacy is not sex. It's a moment. It's that being able to be vulnerable. It's that space. Intimacy is a space that you occupy with another human being that has nothing to do with sex. And so when you share that with the opposite sex, I say this all the time, and this is the reason why I just don't believe that a man and a woman. I know for me personally, I won't have male friends. I'm definitely gonna not. You wouldn't have male friends if you were married. You wouldn't have male friends if you were married. So if you got married, then what happens to all your male friends? They're just no longer your friend anymore. That's kind of hard on the relationship part, because if I'm your friend, I mean, that has to hurt me really deep, and I've gone through that hurt. That is painful when somebody just kind of backs off of you. You got these conversations going, no sex, but conversations going, that you're in each other's lives, and then all of a sudden that person has to pull back because now they're in a relationship. That hurts. That feels like rejection. So for that reason, I'm saying be careful calling another man your friend and you're sharing all your intimate moments with him, you're sharing those communications with them, because it can leave you in a very, very rejected, vulnerable position, because he pulls back for whatever his reasons are. Maybe he's getting into a new relationship, and heaven forbid, I do want to talk a little bit into this because I've been talking to a lot of women who are connected with married men. I understand there's a shortage, but good God, whatever, and so usually when he approaches you outside of the marriage, you're just a gap filler. You're literally a gap filler. And what is he? He's filling the gap of what he feels like he's not getting at home. But instead of him maturing through that process, maybe seeking counseling, sitting down and having, in other words, doing what he has to ensure that relationship fulfills him, he got to step outside of the marriage and risk hurt someone else. And so what happens is women, we don't separate our bodies from our hearts. They're connected. I don't care how you try to say that. We got some, and that's why it's hard for prostitutes. That's why mentally they just messed up, because it goes against everything the way we were created, because we're nurturers, we're givers. And so And yes, we're receivers, but we give, nurture, we nurture. But I wanted to say this about the male-female relationship because I know for me, going into a new season in my life, I'm just not going to claim any man to be my friend. Because if I do, then I open the door for me to start sharing intimate moments of my life. And I know that the line between intimacy and sex is very, very thin. It is extremely thin and can be easily crossed over in a moment. And so therefore, I just don't make that analogy. I have a lot of male associates in my life that maybe we work together in business partners and in corporate America and in other business ventures. And so until I can come up with a better name, I'll just call them associates. You know, we're associated through some type of business deal or so forth. Or we may be associated through other people. So when we show up at a party or we show up at something, we know each other like, hey, Ben, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? How you doing? But I am not going to have him as a friend to start confiding in because that's a relationship. That's a relationship. With a female, it's different because we're both heterosexuals. We're not trying to do nothing like that. But even with that, those relationships are very intimate. Those relationships are very intimate. You share secrets with people that could potentially hurt you down the road if they so choose. You know, so we gotta be careful with this whole friend word. Oh, we just go to movies and we just, baby, that is a relationship. You're going out to dinner, you're eating, so what did I tell you? It's not a relationship, but you're dating. The word date, I don't like that word, but that's basically the equivalent of it. You can try to say it's not bad. Oh no, we're not in a relationship, we're not having sex, we just go to the movies. No, you're dating. You're dating, you're just dating with boundaries. You know, and so emotionally, your heart doesn't know that the line is back here. Your heart just feels. It knows what it like. It can. If you can't tell me that you all of a sudden become friends with a guy, y'all have so much in common. Business, business, non-business. If you love the same movies, you work out. I mean, just non-stop stuff, compatibility, right? You can't tell me that at some point that line can be crossed. And if one person just has no intentions on crossing that line, the other person could potentially get hurt. And that's a hurt you don't want to feel. You don't want to experience. You know, and so I kind of wanted to capture this thought for the book. I don't know if this is for the birth of a woman or if this is for the king and queen swag. I think it's probably for the king and queen swag, even though I experienced it as part of the birth of a woman. Because it was that part that unlocked me. It was that part that unlocked me. When you start taking on different types of friendships that expose you to different feelings that you've never felt before, and you're wondering why you're not getting those words or communications, and I'm just being transparent at home. And so now you're left with, wait a minute, there's a whole other world out here. You know, and what happens is, and I had to do this exercise where I had to, just talk about all the adjectives of who I was. And I believe the reason why she had me to do that was so that, when a man says, so you're sexy or you're smart or you're beautiful, that doesn't trigger something in my body. It doesn't trigger something in my heart because I already know that. Thank you very much for acknowledging it. I appreciate it. It's a totally different meaning. It's a totally different meaning. And I think that's something we need to turn on in our young girls and in our children because that's what happened to me in high school. I had never heard the word beautiful before, pretty, because which before I used. But, a boy calling you pretty for the first time triggers all sorts of emotions. And you think you don't know what to do with those emotions because you've never heard it before. If you heard it before, it would be like, oh, he's acknowledging that I'm pretty. Okay, daddy told me I was pretty. Mommy told me I was pretty, so I'm pretty. So it wouldn't have triggered the wrong emotion. It would have triggered more like that dating type of emotion. So, because not to do that and to connect that to some real emotion, whether we call it love or infatuation, I don't know what you want to call it, but it can be very, very painful to have to walk yourself up out of that, So I'd rather women not have to deal with that at all if they had a better understanding of friendship and better understanding of what their triggers are. I heard something the other day and I need to go back and grab it. I think one line said, and I need to go and grab it because it's so good. I'm just using my own words for now. That thing that will trip you up is the thing that will trip you up. That thing that has the capacity to trip you up is the thing that will trip you up. So if somebody giving you nice words is that thing that feeds you, then all the enemy knows is that I just got to give her somebody who's going to give her kind words and treat her nice. And I'll have her so strung out she'll think she in love with him, but that's not what he's about. He's just after her body. And then once he's done with that, then he's got an exit strategy. And there she's left in a puddle trying to pick her life up and figure out what just happened.
That's it, ladies. That's it. I wanted to play that for you because I was having this discussion. This is a part of the book that I'm working on called The King and the Queen Swag. Okay. And I talk about everything in this book. And this came up out of that. And I've had different friendships throughout the years, corporate, certain, just different types of friendships. And so I wanted to bring that to the forefront. Patty, I'm going to have you unlock as we close this out. I want to, I saw you writing over there. Go ahead and unmute your line, Miss Patty. Let me see. I wanted you guys to hear that because at first when I said the question, I said, you know, I believe they're all going to say yes. I say, now, God, I know what you're telling me. I know all the different facets of relationships throughout the years. I've been in corporate for 30 years. I really didn't introduce myself on the vocational side. Guys, I've been in corporate America for 25 or 30 years. I'm going to try to unmute you, Patty. And, you know, I've been in the corporate boardroom. You know, it doesn't really matter what color and all that kind of stuff. And so, and then been married and, you know, having kids and different kind of relationships. But, and all of you talked about, I'm trying to find you, Patty. Where you at? You know, basically, a lot of you say with boundaries. But let's be honest, we're talking about word boundaries, but we're talking about emotions here, okay? Are you unmuted, darling? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
There you go. I just unmuted you. Let me finish this thought and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. I wanted to be the person that, and I'm glad that God had me to play it last, because I didn't want you guys to be influenced by what I was coming up with, okay? And you guys are helping me write this book because I'm taking words from what you said with the thoughts that I had initially when I prompted this question, because as women, we are emotional beings. And so that line that you guys are talking about, those boundaries that you're talking about are very, very thin. So we really have to be careful about that. Go ahead, Patty, take it away.
Yeah, I was listening intensively and also attentively, empathically, compassionately, and writing my notes because, you know, there are a lot of types of different listening. Mm-hmm. And as a hospice chaplain and bereavement coordinator, my best gift to my patients or whomever is listening to the story. And this is when I'm grateful to be in chapter 58, in that I've learned to be unapologetically strong and brave and truthful and honest. I believe our downfall, Jona, as we approach any friendship, is the lack of true communication, honest communication. And I want to throw something out there just because of the world we are living in, whether we agree with it or not. Two women, ladies, queens, can be that intimately involved to where they can cross over into a relationship that will boggle our very minds. And there are a lot of people in hiding because of that, because it's not Bible, it's not the norm. Right. But any relationship that you can get into can open doors to things that you have not even imagined. So let's not just assume that having a same-sex best friend relationship can't lead into something, because I counsel people all the time where that has been their case, okay? So let's throw that out there. I want to return to one big word, is Oprah's favorite word, intentionality and intentions. We fail to communicate at the start of our friendships, the intentions. I believe we need to rewrite the communication. Be honest with ourselves. Be honest with the people. I have had many people that either one, chose to walk away from me, or two, I chose to walk away from, because I asked this question at the beginning of the relationship. Hey, so you want to be my friend? What are your intentions? I ask that. And I say, all relationships give birth to something. So what is this relationship going to give birth to? Why do you want to be my friend? I know why I want to be in a relationship with you. And so we need to get these things answered on day one. I mean, if you're that bold to approach me and say, you know, I need a friend. I actually call people now and ask, you know, because I'm looking for someone to do life with. I may not be looking for a husband. I'm looking for someone to do life with. And if that's how I approach you, somewhere along the line, then what we get to determine is what kind of life. You know what I'm saying? But the friendship is still open. Yeah. We get to discuss during the first week, where do you see yourself in? We're asking the wrong questions. Yeah. We need to ask this new person, hey, what are your core beliefs? Yeah. Or what is your value statement? What are your goals, your visions, your dreams? You should be able to tap out
Absolutely.
within the first few conversations if they don't have the right answer.
Yep.
Because I'm a mature woman. Why would I want to connect to someone in friendship who don't even know what they stand for or what they believe? I'm like, okay, next. And so we bring our unhealthy desires sometimes, looking for something different than what we're already in. And then because we are master creators, we women,
yes,
we want to create in that person what we desire in the friendship. So we start the friendship not by truth, but by manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember when we meet someone, again, the relationship is designed by God or the devil to give birth to something. And you need to decide what team you're on.
Right.
Why are we connected? What is your destiny in the next 5 or 10 years? You ask that question. Mm-hmm. And if their destiny does not align with yours, then snip, snip, baby, like Bishop Jake said, cut it loose. Because if your destiny does not align today, it won't align 10 years from now, and you would have wasted time with that. Is this friendship going to create a miscarriage? Is it going to create a deformed baby? Are all the chromosomes going to match? You know, and so we want to know that, Queen Jona, before we make any investments in friendship. Yeah. And so it's easy to take your bumps and bruises within week 1 of the relationship rather than, you know, you playing with this person for 2 years trying to manipulate them into.
Exactly.
So I do believe that friendships are necessary because, look, we only want from people what we have already been exposed to.
Yeah.
So.
Uh-oh. What happened? Did you mute yourself? Hold on, guys. Okay. What happened? She's just talking? Okay. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I don't know what happened. It just muted you. Go ahead. That was so good. I can hear you. Patty?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Were you finished, darling? You were finishing I was trying to let you finish your thought, but it just muted you all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was finishing up the thought by saying we do have to remember how important intention, you know, where do you see this, you know, what is this friendship going to birth? Mm-hmm. If we ask ourselves these questions honestly and ask the person honestly, and look, if that person is not able to say what their core beliefs are, you know, like the saying says, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything.
For anything.
Yeah, so it's safe. It's safe to have a relationship with someone else if we are healthy and we know what we want from the onset.
I agree with that. Guys, this has been amazing. This particular, I guess, episode, if you would, of the Queen Network, it ran a little bit long because I wanted our audience to get to know you. This is our first time going live via Facebook. We're adding Instagram. We're adding a YouTube channel and all of that. So if you are not subscribed to us, it should be on my page. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to do this even more. Now, here's our next question. And I think it'll probably be next week or the week after. But it's going to give you guys some time to think about it. What are your 5 or 3 to 5? I don't want to put any pressure on you. What are your 3 to 5 non-negotiables? This is for my marriage-ready believers. So Kafara, I want you to type this question in the chat. What are your 3 to 5 non-negotiables? Does everybody understand what that question means? In other words, I have this thing about dating. God's gonna have to help me with that because there's dating and then there's vetting. Okay, I believe you are in a vetting process. You can be going out with multiple associates if you would. Men do it all the time. I don't know why women feel like they can't, and they start tripping when they find out he went to dinner with somebody else last week when you should have went to dinner with somebody else last week. So here's the deal. When you get ready to transition into taking that individual into the next part of your life, and that's a serious relationship or a committed relationship, what are your your non-negotiables that's going to kind of cut those individuals off and dwindle those 3 to 5 individuals that you're vetting and going to lunch and all that with down to 1. So we're going to hold that until next time. And so give you guys some time to think about it. Somebody's in the chat room. Okay, what y'all talking about in here? Oh, you just put the question in there. Also, make sure you put it on the Facebook Live as well, Kafar. But guys, that is it for us. This has been amazing. I'm excited. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Give yourselves a hand clap. I know I'm laughing at y'all because it's kind of like the eagle. I just threw y'all out the nest. I was like, okay, here you go. But Keisha's like, let me see, can I get out of this today? Nope, this is it. This is day 1 of the rest of your ministry in front of the camera life. Welcome to my world. Guys, have a great evening. Facebook Live, thank you guys for joining us. IG, thank you for joining us. YouTube channel, thank you for joining us. This is Jona South. Some call me the Queen of Queens, and you've been introduced to our leaders here in the Queen Network. And we always say, welcome into the room. Guys, have a great night. Say goodbye, ladies.
Bye-bye. Blessings.
Good night.
Night, ladies.
Good night.
All right, I just stopped the live, guys. That was so good. Yay! All right, thank you guys for joining me. We're going to upload this to YouTube, and you'll be able to see it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Patty. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Nice seeing you guys.
Nice meeting you too.